Man TV. As you can see, I am joined by the wonderful Charlie Skillen.
Hello, Soph. How are you?
Babes, I've missed you.
How was Vegas?
It was wonderful. How's life been?
Yeah, it's terrible without you, Soph.
I know. I'm very valuable to your life. I know. It's not true, is it? Obviously. Me and Charlie are really thrilled to be here. Now, before we get into our video, we just want to say that we are going to be doing a regular segment here every single week. But we want you guys to name it. So whatever you guys want to see, you tell us and we will do it.
Cafe Brazil.
Cafe, yeah, it could just be called Cafe Brazil, couldn't it?
Right outside Stamford Bridge. If you ever come to Stamford Bridge, pop in here.
Yeah, pop in here. It's got great food.
Chelsea shirts all over the gaff.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh, Chelsea's everywhere. I think a lot of the players used to come here, didn't they?
They
back in the
yeah.
They just come and pop in every now and again. And they've got great sausage and chips on a match day as well. So make sure you pop over.
Do, yeah.
That's my favourite. You know, sausage and chips is my favourite. I do love it.
She loves a proper cuisine. So
yeah, I do. Right. Any food will do, apart from celery. I don't like celery, which is ironic because that's all I can't song. Anyway,
that's
right.
very ironic.
Yeah. Anyway, so me and Charles have come together after the weekends. We'll quickly reflect on the weekend, but we're basically going to do a starting 11, what we think our starting 11 should be for the majority of the season. We saw some it was promising football, I suppose, at the weekend.
It was. I got back from Huddersfield this morning, and me and Dad were talking on the way back, and we thought it was a really good, overall, fantastic performance. I mean, are you ever going to be clicking straight away and playing the sort of football that we want to be seeing in December, January? No, probably not. You know, this was the first. I mean, Sarri's actually not been there that long, and this was obviously the first league game. So, I think for what it was a very good performance.
Yeah.
You know, 3-0 away from home. Huddersfield, I think, are going to struggle this year. I'll be honest, but
I do as well. Actually,
I think it was. I think it was very promising, and I think more like obviously the result was good and 3 points, and we are top of the league as of Saturday night. Let's see what Liverpool and Man City have to say about that. Unfortunately, but I think more than that, you can see the start of what Sarri's trying to do, and a bit of a change in the way we play. And I think even in the game of the weekend, that became obvious.
Yeah, exactly. I was thrilled with the performance, if I'm being honest. A few little bits here and there. David Luiz jumping over somebody's head isn't really what you want to see. But I know a lot of you are thrilled to see him back in the starting lineup. So we've tried to come up with a decent starting 11. I mean, the main bit I'm so excited about is the midfield, because I think it's going to be absolutely ace this season. Especially just seeing yesterday how well Jorginho settled in already.
Yeah,
one thing I will say, that penalty was so risky, paid off.
It was good. Well,
but please don't do it all the time.
No, that's how he takes them. He took one very similar in pre-season against Arsenal, I think.
Whoever it was.
Maybe Inter Milan, but no, it was. Him and Hazard take penalties very similarly, but it was it was a great penalty. I actually missed it.
Shut up! You went to the toilet.
No, I went to the bar with my pal.
Well, obviously, to get beer.
It was just before half time, and got the beer, and then we heard the penalty shot, so I ran back, managed to see it go in.
Good.
Managed to see the penalty go in, but didn't see the incident.
I thought it was ledge. I thought how cool, especially on his debut, to do something that slick.
I know.
Anyway, right, so let's go with our starting 11 then. So now, feel free to disagree with us, guys. I know you always will. A lot of you hammered me in the comments yesterday for my review, but just my opinion. And it was actually quite hard to point out what an individual player did right yesterday, because the whole team collectively did well together.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, everyone played pretty well.
Yeah. Okay. So in goal, we've obviously gone with our new the world's most expensive goalkeeper. It's the number one Kepa
Arrizabalaga.
Is that how you very well pronounce? If that's the way you do it.
That's how I say it.
Yeah, it was great. Didn't really have much to do yesterday, by all means, but
I think when called upon, I mean, I was saying this in the pub afterwards. I was like, God, he was brilliant, wasn't he? And everyone's sort of looking at me like, he didn't do anything, mate. But when he was called upon, I thought he was very good. I mean, he's a lot kind of smaller than Courtois, and that's like immediately noticeable. But I thought he did his.
He's so old news.
Yeah, exactly. Who?
Yeah. Whatever.
He did his. Didn't like you anyway, mate.
Nah. Not at all.
I thought he did really well when called upon, and I'm looking forward to seeing him bigger games, and how when he sort of grows into that shirt and makes the Premier League his own. And I think from people that watch La Liga all the time, I've spoken to a couple of our, like working in the mail, speaking to a couple of the guys that watch Spanish football all the time, and they say he's certainly one of the best young keepers in the world. So
yeah. He's an investment, isn't he, for the future?
Precisely, and I think he's going to be really good, and I think obviously he's our number one keeper, so it's exciting.
He's in. Okay, then we're going to go to our back four. Obviously, we're playing a 4-3-3 formation.
Yep.
Dave has to go in there. There's no doubt.
Azpilicueta.
I know. He's preferred in a back three, but he has to be in the team regardless.
Well, ever since he's come to Chelsea, he's played. He's
played everywhere.
Yeah, he has played everywhere. He played right back of a back four, left back of a back four,
which I hated.
Then as a right-sided centre half in a back three for a couple of years, and now he's back to being on the right, and wherever he's played, he's played very well. I think when Huddersfield did attack yesterday, they kind of attacked down that side and they targeted his height, which I think quite a few teams will do, and we've seen that before. And he was captain against Huddersfield as well. Apparently Sarri said that's not a final decision, but certainly he's one of the most experienced players at the club. He's probably one of our longest serving players, if not our longest serving player potentially. He's a shoo-in for me at right back.
Yeah, okay. Then we'll go to the middle. Charles, who have we gone with? We've had a bit of a dispute with the David Luiz situation, but
yeah, I think for the foreseeable future anyway, I think it's going to be David Luiz and Rudiger.
Rudiger, I'm all for.
Rudiger,
he's had so much criticism, I think, from a lot of fans.
Yeah.
And now I think it took him a while to settle in, but I think now fans are really, really warming to him. But I think when he came in, we already had somebody we wanted we already had a player we wanted in that position.
Yeah.
Now there's sort of more room for him to come into the team.
Yeah, look, I think Rudiger overall has been a fantastic signing for Chelsea.
Really good.
I think he, maybe didn't play the best when he first came in and was obviously struggling for a bit of game time in and out of the team. But I think by the end of last season, he was probably our best centre half. He was wonderful in the cup final against Man United, and I think he can be a very good Chelsea centre half for the next 4 or 5 years. I'm a big fan. David Luiz has obviously had an up and down career at the club, certainly more up and down. He was wonderful when he first came back and was crucial to Antonio Conte winning the title. Last season was a completely different story. We obviously know he fell out with Conte. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to be key this year, and I think he played pretty well against Huddersfield. I do think he gets quite out of position sometimes.
That's what I mean. That's the only thing that worries me about
right.
him, if I'm being honest. It's more just like sometimes he tries so hard that he just makes these silly mistakes out of, I don't want to say aggression. It's not aggression. It's just. He's just a bit clumsy.
He is quite aggressive, but I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing, especially in a defender. And
Atletico Madrid away though is just a prime example.
Yeah, no, that's true. It's good experience mentality, and I think he's been crucial to some of our greatest moments as a football club. Our greatest moment as a football club in Munich, he was absolutely crucial and played on one leg.
Completely agree.
Obviously, that doesn't give him a pass forever. But it's testament to his winning mentality, and I think more than ever now, you saw what happened last season. I'm not saying it was because David Luiz weren't playing, because when he played he was really poor. Mm-hmm. But I think Sarri's going to be a big fan of his.
No, there's definitely room for him.
I think he's already a big fan, and I think
Sarri's playing more attacking football, isn't he? And David Luiz suits that.
Exactly. I think he's going to suit it, and I do think a couple of our other centre halves are great. I think Ampadu, is an unbelievable prospect. Christensen as well. I think felt a little bit sorry for Christensen. Felt a little bit sorry for Christensen last season.
But this is what I mean, though. But I feel like he deserves to get game time by far at some points in the season. Alongside Dave, you can't really criticise him either. But he was one of our most solid players, not just defenders, players on the pitch. So I just feel as if it's not. People are. Saying, oh, he's a bit young, But I mean, I think that's irrelevant when people are calling for the likes of Hudson-Odoi and Ruben Loftus-Cheek to get a chance.
Yeah, of course.
Christensen's more than earned his place to me.
Yeah. No, look.
But we'll go with Rudiger and David Luiz.
We're going to be playing a lot of games this season. Say worst happens, we get knocked out of the Europa League group stage. That's still an extra 6 games. We're going to be going deep in the cups. I fully expect us to reach the quarterfinals of the Europa League at least.
Deep in the cups.
What?
Oh no, it just tickled me a little bit. Deep in the cups. Anyway, other side, no, I'm just joking. And then obviously we've got Alonso in the team.
Yes.
Again, a very, very controversial one. We like him. I love him. I think some of the things he did last season, he scores very important goals. He
does. And he won the penalty. Yesterday. But I think
should have probably given him a bit higher. But I'm not really too concerned about winning penalties. I'm more just there.
No,
all round play.
I can see why people are concerned, because I do think at some point he will struggle in that back four. Mm-hmm. But I think, look, he's the best left back at the club for me. I see a lot on Twitter that Emerson Palmieri is the answer to all prayers, but I'm not saying anything against him, but he hasn't. He hasn't lit it up when he's played for Chelsea. The very, very few times he's played for Chelsea so far, I think he'll prove to be a good signing. But for the minute, I certainly think Marcus Alonso has that spot nailed down.
Exactly. Right, now let's go to the midfield.
You're looking forward to this, aren't you?
My favourite part of this entire video.
You're buzzing, you are buzzing, aren't you?
I just think our midfield is I mean, listen, I'm not going to lie, I didn't know much about Kovacic. Kovacic, is that you say it?
Yeah.
Before he came. Because, again, we make very last-minute signings. And we talk about these players all summer long, nothing happens, and the last minute, we've signed God knows who from God knows where. But from what I've seen online and watching him play for Real, I think he's, he's very grabs the ball in the middle of the field. Let's put it that way.
Wow.
I've seen it. Yeah, he just comes in, does these weird flicks. So you've seen that? Just seen that video I sent you? He's decent. So yeah, we put him.
Did everyone see Sophie on Sky Sports, by the way?
Oh yeah, I know.
He did very well.
Thank you, Charles.
He did very well.
A lot of people are mean to me.
We were watching it in the office.
Oh, were you?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Obviously, I was working on deadline day, and we got a big video wall where Sky Sports News was playing.
Oh yeah.
And I was busy, and I looked up. I thought, oh god, there she is.
Charles.
No, I'm joking. No, I was delighted. You
want to see me.
You did very well.
Well, it was very hard to argue a case against a keeper that we originally wanted.
Yeah,
I had 30 seconds to argue Kepa. The guy from the Anfield Rap, I think it was, had 30 seconds to argue Alisson, and it's very hard for me to argue against a very well-established keeper, a well-established keeper that we originally wanted to get and lost out on against somebody now that's very young and not as established. But I think we got the better deal overall. And that's what I said.
Absolutely.
It's a long-term investment, 7-year contract, guys.
Cool. So
the midfield.
The midfield is Jorginho, Kante, Kovacic.
And do you know what I want to say is, before you, because I'm just, Charlie, I've got to talk over you here.
Buzzing.
I'm just so happy we finally found a player in Jorginho that works alongside Kante.
Yeah.
It's been a long, couple years now that we've not been able to read. Nobody's been a fan of Fabregas there. It's just nothing's really worked out, has it? And now this is finally coming together.
I think more than anything is everyone for a couple of years the question's been, is it Kante or Makelele who's better? They're completely different players.
I wouldn't even compare the two. I love Makelele, but I wouldn't compare them.
They're completely different players. I mean, Kante to me, his natural...
In different eras of the Premier League as well.
His natural position is not holding in front of a back four. He's much more energetic than that, and I think Jorginho kind of sitting deeper, you've seen this against Huddersfield and pre-season, sitting deeper, dictating the pace of the play, allows Kante to actually get forward a bit more. Obviously he opened the scoring. It was a bit of a fluky goal. But
his problem last season was that we relied too heavily on Kante to glue everything, to hold the glue of the team together.
To do everything. And I think he's going to be crucial in terms of getting forward more, breaking play up from high up the pitch, pressing the other team deep. And I think that...
I can't get over the deep cups thing. It just made me laugh. I don't know why. I don't know what cups and deep. It was funny.
Whatever.
Carry on,
and Jorginho sitting that bit further back. And,
carry on. I know.
Pull yourself together. Mate,
I know. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
And then Kovacic as well. Look, I think there's been a spot open next to those two, and I think this position will rotate. Obviously, we saw Ross Barkley start there against Huddersfield, and he did fine. But I think Kovacic, with his experience of playing for Real Madrid, playing in the Champions League, he didn't always get a chance there. But I do think he'll make that spot his own. Ridiculous thing to say after Jorginho and Kante both scored, but a little bit worried that there's not many goals in that midfield. I think Loftus-Cheek as well will get a lot of game time there.
We seem to have some very good options, and also the one thing that impressed me about Huddersfield is the fact that our new players have been able to come in, settle in extremely quickly, and fit into Sarri's way of playing football, which is fantastic. Yeah. Okay, now front three quickly.
Yeah,
we've been rambling on for ages.
It's because you keep laughing.
I know.
I'm going Pedro on the right. I think him and William will battle for that place all season. I think William actually played pretty well on the left, so I think he can fill both spots. But I do think Pedro, again going back to the David Luiz thing of winning mentality, winning experience, I think that he had a bit of a dodgy season last season, but he was very crucial to us winning the league a couple of years ago. And I think
I'm confident when Pedro comes on that he knows how to handle pressure. That's one thing I like about him.
You can't underestimate having someone that's won what he's won and be part of the setups that he's been part of at the football club. And I think that I think that his way of playing and the way he grew up playing football at Barcelona is going to be key. It's going to be key for Sarri going forward.
Yeah, and I think Pedro offers something that we actually haven't had at the club for a while. He's completely different. I suppose playing at Barcelona for all those years is his main factor in that as well.
And look, he's been a very good player for Chelsea as well. On the other side, clearly Eden Hazard. He came on for what, 15 minutes,
and made an impact,
and just tore it up against Huddersfield. And that was like, he's not even close to being fit. So, I mean, he's clearly, again, you know, as he would be for any team, he is by far and away
good to see that
our biggest attacking player.
Yeah, but it's also good to see that if Hazard does need a rest once in a while, which I think he actually does, we can't rely on him 24/7. That we do actually have other players that can come on and get the job done. And we hadn't conceded a goal until he came on the pitch, and we continued that way. Then we've obviously gone with Morata now. Although I think I got a bit battered on Twitter actually for this, for saying that you know, he's still an issue and everything, when he actually didn't play too badly against Huddersfield. I did probably watch the highlights when I got home, because I think when you watch the game sometimes you get just frustrated in moments and stuff. But when I got in for the pub and I watched the highlights in the evening at Match of the Day, I can see what you're saying. I just really feel as if, you know, you're a £70 million player, you do eventually need to be scoring some goals. So I hope by December, which I'm giving him quite a long gap there. You know, I'm being generous.
I'm not a huge Morata fan by any stretch of the imagination, but you know, we haven't got very many options. They loaned out Batshuayi, and I mean, I'm not a big Batshuayi fan in the slightest.
I am, but that's an argument for another day.
Yeah, but if there was one position we didn't need to lose players, it was up front. So I don't really know what they were doing with that. Love Olivier Giroud. I think Olivier Giroud is probably the best striker at the club, but I don't think that he's going to fit in this system.
No,
I think he's more of a Plan B player. So yeah, it's going to have to be Morata, and I think Morata's technical ability certainly is going to work quite well. He needs, obviously, what he needs to do is find that cutting edge that he's clearly lost at some point. The other thing that could well happen. He
season great last season, didn't he?
Yeah. The other thing that could well happen is Hazard go as a striker. Sarri did this for Napoli last year when Dries Mertens, who's, you know, a similar player to Hazard and you know, frankly nowhere near as good, played as his kind of false nine for Napoli. So I think that could be something you see at some point as well.
Yeah, I mean, what me and Charles were doing, I think let's do another one of these after Christmas, so Boxing Day sort of way, and we'll see if we're still saying the same team and we're still thinking the same way. And hopefully, you know, we're saying Morata is like, we'll start from Morata and we'll work our way back.
Yeah.
It's a good idea, isn't it? Okay, anyway, guys, comment below what would be your first ideal choice for your first starting 11 this season. Feel free to disagree with us, I know you will do, and please, if you like this video, subscribe, and don't forget, me and Charlie are going to be doing a regular segment in this CAF every week, so please get your comments in now and let us know what you would like it to be about. You can title it, you can say whatever you want, and we will be here.
Happy
anyway,
days.
yeah. Go on, you Blues.
Come on, Chelsea.